Hi, I'm Professor Ax. I'm a university student, and today we're going to talk about math exams. You know that this channel is about the STEM. The STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, and so let's start with it. So, quick warning: I don't have the absolute truth. I may be wrong in something, so this is going to be a debate. If you want to talk about this in the comments, please leave your opinion, and remember, we all have freedom of speech to debate. So let's start with it. Math exams don't measure your real intelligence. Why? Exams, we all have taken an exam before, and sometimes we may have thought that, hey, that guy over there got an A plus or got all the points. That guy should be smart. But what if I tell you that exams may not be the best option to measure your intelligence? In fact, this seems to be a failed system, as great minds like Bill Gates and Albert Einstein were not the guys with the higher grades, and they brought great contributions for humanity. This is not only a video to open a discussion about the effectiveness of exams, but a way to motivate you that you are not a number in a paper, and we don't know if you can be the next Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, or Bill Gates. But what we do know is that exams don't define you as a person and may not tell you about your real intelligence. Let's start by deep understanding of a subject. The bad thing about exams is that they only ask you questions with right and wrong answers. They don't seem to evaluate your knowledge, even though most of the teachers use this as a way to evaluate the student. When we see an exam, most of the time you pass it because you memorized concepts and the resources your teacher gave you, or you are more related with the questions you've been asked. So here's the problem: math exams don't really measure your real intelligence, your real math intelligence. Like, you can really understand the topic pretty well, but your teacher, maybe the exam is built in a bad way, or maybe you don't really know the subjects at the moment, but you got the subjects, or maybe, okay, you will see what I'm talking about with the next text, with the next words. The bad thing about the exams is that they only ask you questions with right and wrong answers. They don't seem to evaluate your knowledge, even though most of the teachers use this way as okay, we saw this. Okay, this is not deep understanding. This is overall understanding and memorization. I mean, this is general understanding and memorization. That's what I mean. But a deep understanding of the subject, like math, can mark the difference between false intelligence and real intelligence. False intelligence may be just showing up in a paper you know something, but do you really understand it? Have you taken the time to acquire and make the subject part of you? You may have noticed you are so related with the subject when you use your native language. You've understood it so deeply, it's weird when an exam tries to evaluate your knowledge in that language. I mean, sometimes it may be kind of dumb to try to evaluate a knowledge that has been part of your life forever, and you get bad grades in it, even though real life tells you that you dominate that subject pretty well. The problem with the exams is that they cannot evaluate your true understanding of the subjects. The problem with the exams is that, as I said, they cannot evaluate your true understanding of a subject, because true understanding isn't something you see in a paper. It is something you may see in life. That's what I say. I don't have the absolute truth, but something that I've seen in life is that what you do, and this is not only something that I've seen only me, like, it is something that others have observed at these times. I mean, the difference between being smart or showing that you are smart in classroom and being really smart in life. What I mean is that you can have a title that says, hey, this man is really smart, but does that shows the real intelligence of that guy? What I mean is that exams they cannot be seen like a way to say, hey, that guy is really smart, or that guy is really dumb. That's what I say. Let's take the example of Albert Einstein. I mean, before taking the example of Albert Einstein, like, have you think about the language you talk? Like, not my actual English. That is, I'm not native English, but if you are native English, if you are a native English speaker, like, why are there exams trying to evaluate you are good or bad in English? Like, you talk that language, you cannot be bad at that language. Like, you may be like, maybe you, I mean, you may not be the best speaker, but if you can talk with an English speaker and you do it pretty well, then something like a grade saying you are a bad English speaker, isn't that dumb? What I mean is that we are confusing the system and we are confusing something like a paper telling you, hey, you are this, you are that, and the real life telling you, hey, maybe you are more capable than you think. That's what I mean. This is something that a math exam can do. It can tell you, hey, you are this, you are that, but what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I mean, do you get what I'm saying? So you can be unsuccessful. I mean, let's take the example of Albert Einstein. Have you seen his GPA? When he graduated from Federal Polytechnic Institute in Zurich, his GPA was 4.6 out of 6.0, which is equivalent to approximately 3.0 out of 4.0. Again, the system is trying to define you, but you can come with really genius ideas like relativity. The system tries to define you, but this is a problem, as systems cannot apply to everything. And I'm not saying you shouldn't care about your GPA. If you can, try to make the best of college, but don't let that define your success. Like, you can be unsuccessful in college, but be really successful in life. So you can be really successful in college, but unsuccessful in life. As most of the people that graduated from college and cannot get a job out there. What I'm trying to say is that life is more complex than just a number, and you don't need to show in the paper that you are good at math. There is a difference between showing and being. You can understand pretty well the subject, but not remembering anything when taking the exam. So, does this mean are you stupid? Not really. 80% of the exam grade doesn't depend on your intelligence, but on your performance while taking the exam. Getting good grades in exams is strategy. Getting good grades in exams is a strategy, not intelligence. It could be a strategic intelligence, as you are fighting with getting the best grades possible. But does this mean you understand the subject? I've seen friends using ChatGPT to pass an exam, and does this mean they are intelligent? Not really. ChatGPT is the mastermind behind it. Also, what I'm trying to say is that when you see, don't compare to other people that could get good grades in an exam, or maybe like they can be using ChatGPT, or they can be using some trap. I mean, an exam won't tell that you are really smart. Like, I mean, it is so relative. That's what I mean. It is so relative. Exams don't measure the real intelligence sometimes. What I'm saying is that they can try to measure something, but they won't measure real intelligence. That's what I mean. Like, again, you can be really successful in college, but being really unsuccessful in life. Like, and what do you prefer? Do you prefer being successful in college and not being successful in life? Or do you prefer being unsuccessful in college or being successful in life and being successful in life? Like, personally, I would prefer that a system tells me that I'm stupid, but showing in life that I'm not that dumb. That's what I say. And that can happen with math. You know what I'm saying? You can like be a bad student for the system, but get really good contributions for humanity. Or maybe you may have some priorities in life that doesn't have to do with college, but you try to learn by your like you try to self learn, you try to self teach, you try to teach yourself things that in college you don't really get what that's what I mean. College is not like, there are a lot of variables, and an exam won't say that you are smart. Like, that would be that would be too simplistic. That's what I say. That's my argument. That's my idea. Also, you can understand the subject and not be able to understand what the teacher is asking on the exam. Maybe the teacher doesn't know how to express itself, or the teacher is asking to fill the exam in a specific way. In this case, the teacher is measuring obedience over intelligence. Real intelligence is more than following orders. Real intelligence is more like having a true understanding and solving complex problems, something you won't always be asked in an exam. So this is again the debate about, are you being intelligent in college? Are you being intelligent in university? Or are you being obedient? And that's what sometimes the system wants you, like the university system wants you to be obedient or to follow orders. That's why I've noticed in that's what ChatGPT do pretty well. You can ask ChatGPT, hey, do this, and ChatGPT will do it like a follower, like a servant, like someone following orders. You can make a program, you can make a code, you can try to make your computer follow orders. And does that mean that the computer is smart? Not really. Like, they are pretty smart, but being intelligent seems to be more, and especially in STEM, being intelligent in STEM seems to be more than a number in a test. Is more like the things you can do with your real intelligence. You know what I mean? And most of the time, that's what they took as a way to see if you are intelligent or not, like the things you can do with intelligence. And an exam is a very simplistic way of saying, hey, that guy is smarter than me. I'm trying to, in conclusion, if you got bad grades in an exam, don't feel bad about it. You are not a number. One exams cannot define you as really smart. We all got a bad grade in a specific exam someday, or we all got a bad grade in a specific exam someday. It doesn't matter the times you fall, but the times you recover from falling. So try to always do your best and show the world you are more than a number in a paper or a number in a failing system. So don't worry if you get a bad grade in an exam. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Exams is a very simplistic. An exam is a very simplistic way of trying to measure your real intelligence. So don't let that very simplistic way of seeing you as a person try to define you as a person. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for watching. Professor Axe out.